Don't know if you know that expression, aim for the stars and you'll hit the moon. Aim for the stars, dream big, and at least then you might hit the moon. What's that all about? Well, it's basically for people to say, look, if you dream big, if you set your horizons a long, long way away, have big goals in life, then when you fall short of that, because life and things get in the way, stuff outside our control, at least you'll hit the moon. And that's still further along than if you hadn't have set that big dream. That's what it means. Aim for the stars and at least then you'll hit the moon. Other people just say, well, I don't want to land on the moon. I've tried big goals before and falling short just hurts too much. And at the end of the day, the moon is just a cold, lonely place. I don't know what sort of person you are. You're a big dreamer. You're still hoping, say, no, I will be happy when I get there. And you're still on that journey, or whether you've sort of retreated a bit and become a bit more pessimistic, or perhaps just a bit more self-preservation. You're saying, well, I'll just ease up a little bit on those dreams and aiming for the stars. Just taken a few too many blows in life to do that. Well, it's really interesting, this subject, because the Bible, God himself says that, no. See the star, definitely, but go beyond it. That there's stuff beyond the star, which is for your taking, which is for you, which is very, very possible. What's that all about? Well, stars, Christmas, of course, I'm talking about the wise men. They were called Magi. Don't know what that means. Something to do with magicians. Blah, blah, blah. The point is they were looking at the stars. So they were astrologers. And we have astrologers today. What do astrologers do? Well, they try and help us as people that find life difficult with our dreams and our hopes, whether we've just been knocked back too many times from our dreams. And they help us have hope. They say, what you're looking for in life, what are the base things? Satisfaction, security, safety, significance, justice, to be loved, to be known, well, all these base things. They say, okay, don't worry. Whatever you're feeling right now, these stars are about to line, and that means that there's something to look forward to. Someone's going to walk into your life. There's some plan, there's some open door ahead, which you're going to discover. And we go, yay, that's great. And I think that's what these Magi were doing. We don't think they knew anything about God. It says they were from the east. They were well away from this area that in the Jewish area that knew that God was coming to the world to save people like you and me from the mess that we made of our lives and the world around us. They didn't know that story. So they were still looking in the stars for hope, and they didn't know God, but I think we can assume that they knew their stars. And there was something about this star, this particular star this day, that was doing something that other stars don't do. They knew what stars do, and they knew what stars don't do. And this star was doing something unusual because they followed it. They observed stars, they tried to interpret stars, but they didn't follow it. I don't know the scientific explanation. Was it a comet, an asteroid? I don't know. But the point is that these guys got on their camels or on foot and they started walking hundreds of miles. And they ended up in Jerusalem. And it says that they found there a king. Not King Herod, who they first bumped into, who had his bubble burst a little bit, that a king was being born in his patch. But they found the baby Jesus. And they gave him everything that they had, gold, frankincense, myrrh, and eventually they gave their hearts. They got on their knees and they worshipped him. They said, this is what we've been looking for. I don't know, did they then go back to stargazing? Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, God invented science. He put the stars in the sky, cosmology, that's great. But I don't think they would have used these stars in the same way as before to search for true meaning and answers. They found it, they found Jesus, and they were prepared to give him everything that they had. What does that mean to you and me today? Well, I think life is full of these stars that are not necessarily bad things at all, things that God has made, but they were never made, they were never intended to be the thing that we got stuck on. We were meant to be led by it to something beyond, rather someone beyond God, who would ultimately meet the need for that thing that we were seeking. Let's have some examples. Well, God invented sex, didn't he? He's not looking down from heaven going, oh, what will they think of next? But since the 1960s, we got stuck on it and we've made that the star, that the dream. Are we more satisfied because of it? No, we're more broken because of it. Money, consumerism. We can have everything we want. We can have it in an hour now if we live in London, if we order it on Amazon. Are we more contented? No. Now, is there anything wrong with stuff like food, technology? No. Like Jesus' first miracles, turning water into wine. But because we got stuck on the star and not gone beyond it to the God who can truly satisfy us through those things and from himself, then we've got workaholics and shopaholics and alcoholics and foodaholics and scratch cardaholics and holidayaholics and clothaholics, and the list goes on. We got stuck on the star. It was meant to be a signpost pointing to something else, a generous God that wants to provide for us, and now we're just stuck on stuff. What else? Well, there's significance. Is it bad to want to be significant? No, God made you in his image. He wants you in a very real way to rule the world. Technology means taking this human project somewhere. He wants us to do that and find our place in it. But if we remove God from the equation, we get stuck on the signpost as if, finally arrived with Facebook or whatever I can use to promote myself, and we try and big ourselves up. Do we feel more significant? No, we actually feel more insecure. We become more of a slave to the comments and the likes and the feedback that we get. It's even the same for justice. Is there anything wrong with social justice causes? Black Lives Matter, animal rights, the environment? No. But if we remove God from the equation, who is the God of justice, who will put everything right in the end, it's just us, broken people trying to do justice. We're not very good at it. I'll give you an example. When we have a big rally about the environment, and then we move on from that rally, whether it be in Hyde Park or something, what's left? A load of litter on the floor. Look, it makes no sense. And that's because we're broken people trying to do justice. We're stuck on the signpost. We don't see God beyond it. I could give you example after example. Not because I'm a Christian who knows better than you, but just because you know this from your own life. These things are signposts. These Magi were from the East. Eastern philosophy. Eastern philosophy, like Buddhism, actually acknowledges that life is full of disappointment. That when we set our dreams on something, whether it be significance, security, stuff, sex, safety, and we fall short, that's so disappointing that the answer must be to deny that desire. Your desires are just too strong. Just meditate, clear your mind. And then when you can get over those desires, you'll find peace. Jesus says the opposite. He says, no, what you're looking for is good. There's nothing wrong with relationships with other people, intimacy from other people. Nothing wrong with finding your place in society and feeling wanted and needed and feeling like you are a somebody. But actually your desires are too weak. You've got stuck on the star. Look beyond it to me, and I'll provide for you and guide for you in this world. And you will find actually safety, security, significance, a satisfaction that you can't get from anything else, because they were never meant to be that to you, for you. They were just pointers to me. They were part of this world, but they weren't the answer itself. I don't want us to get stuck on the star this Christmas. I mean, Christmas itself has become something we've got stuck on without actually making it to God, which is what Christmas is about. Christmas. I don't know what the mus bit means, but if you remove Christ, you're just left with mus. And that's what it's become. Pretty awful music on the radio that's got nothing to do with our Lord coming to earth graciously to love us. Queues in Oxford Street. Stress as Amazon deliveries come and then our neighbours nick the parcel. That's what Christmas has become when you remove Christ. And then we wake up in January and it's just a massive downer. Why? Because it was never meant to be the destination. The gifts of Christmas, the enjoyment of Christmas, all of it is meant to be a signpost to point to a generous, loving, inviting God. The inviting God who moved literally heavens and earth. He moved the star just for the sake of 3 people in the East that he wanted to bring to himself. He moved a star for just these 3 people who had never given him a second thought. And through everything that you feel and desire and are looking for, he is calling you personally. It is a personal invitation to you who he loves to bring you to himself where you will find what you've been looking for. Not all the answers, but the beginning of a journey that is on the right track. I pray that you find that this Christmas, this Christmas, the Christ child Jesus, who has come to earth, not waiting floaty up there in the spirit and we just need to meditate and transcend up there. No, someone that comes down to fulfill our desires, who grew up. And every person Jesus meets in the Bible, he fulfills something they were looking for, but they were looking for it in the wrong way and they got stuck on the signpost. Let me pray for you, and I pray this will be a very blessed Christmas. Heavenly Father, I just pray for me, for my family, for families and people listening, that we would just know that you come right down into the middle of our mess and you invite us to you to find the answer for all of our deepest pursuits and desires. Whether it be for answers in science, justice, stuff, sex, whatever it is, they would see beyond that to you and find wholeness this Christmas.